Ready or Not, a phrase often said by Jeffrey Epstein on his island when he would get his workers to... Oh, my bad. That's the wrong script. Don't worry what that's for. Anyway, Ready or Not, the video game, just released in its full version. So I wanted to talk about it and get this shit hyped. So for those of you that do not know what Ready or Not is, probably because you play on console or you're just a loser, Ready or Not is a super tactical SWAT sim, pretty much. You go through various different missions that have completely different levels, going into an apartment building to rescue a hostage from a situation with a bunch of people with armed guns. Or you might be going to the crack houses to raid them of their meth stash and their meth labs because, you know, they're trying to make a little buck to get off the streets. And so different gear is kind of needed for each one, as you need at least NVGs or, you know, a flashlight. So you do have to prepare before, and that can often be quite difficult your first time around. And to me, that is the joy of it. The joy is going into a site and not knowing what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to just peek around every single wall. I'm going to have to barge into doors, throw a flashbang, and just light that shit up. It really gets you on edge and instills a fear into you that just makes your heart rate climb. I haven't been this scared since I watched Jaws and Soul Surfer back to back at 8 years old. And I was so scared then that I thought the floor would turn into water and then the ocean and then a shark would come up and eat me. Whoever let me watch that, fuck you. Probably my parents, so it's a joke, mom and dad. Playing Ready or Not really feels like a horror game, and I've never had any actual horror game like Resident Evil, the Outlast Trials, anything like that actually make me feel scared. In the end, it's some unrealistic situation in an unrealistic world where things just aren't real. There is no 10-foot Dommy Mommy in our world, bruh. As much as we all want it, she's not real, so why would I be scared or even tense about that? And in the Outlast Trials, it's not a very realistic scenario anymore. Maybe back in the day when, you know, there was like prisoners of war being tortured and stuff, but for most of us, that thing will never become close to happening, even when you're getting like surgery on the table. However, Ready or Not, on the other hand, is a pretty realistic scenario because you are a special force SWAT agent and things like this take place, you know, hostage situations, drug raids, robberies gone wrong where they barricade themselves in and hold the civilians as hostage. Things like this happen. So when I am going through doors, breaching them with my team, I am scared because people like actually be experiencing shit like this, and the realism, it makes it extremely tense. I've had times where it feels like I'm playing CSGO because I have flicked so hard, only to find out that it is a civilian that was just running to us for safety. But I was so scared when I opened the door that I just let loose, and at that point, you just lose the mission. The door is going to be so bad, you're not even going to want to finish it out. And you also just killed an innocent person, so you kind of feel bad, okay? Even if it is a game. You take all that, and then you add that some of these maps are like really scary. Some of them it's like, oh, the apartment complex is well lit, all that, it's fine. But you go to the crack den when it is night, you're going to need a flashlight, you're going to need NVGs, you're going to have something so you can see because every house is not well lit. Outside is literally pitch black. And the caves? Nah, man, I don't want to go to the caves ever again, man. The caves is like the only reason to bring NVGs because I prefer the flashlight usually in the houses. But when I'm in the caves, like I need to be able to see way better because they just pop out of nowhere. And it is so dark in there. If you don't have your flashlight halfway on them, you're not seeing them and they're going to light the shit out of you and you're going to have no idea where they even are. That map was even scarier in early access because there was some of the crackheads who had knives. I haven't seen them in the full version, but that doesn't mean they're not there. I could just not have gotten to them or played the right mode. But those things were so scary because when someone has a gun, you know, I have a gun. It's a little more fair. We're on the same playing field. And you might be thinking, well, you have a gun and they have a knife. So how's that scary? You're not on equal playing fields. Well, in these close quarters and someone's just sprinting at you with a knife, it's not that it isn't fair. It's that that's horrifying. I'm not just going to put a bullet in them. I'm going to just release the whole clip and hope it takes them down. I don't even know like where they are anymore. I'm just going to dump the entire magazine and just hope that they're on the ground, and then I'm going to cuff them and I'm going to move on with my day, hopefully not have nightmares about that moment. Speaking of the full release, they also added a commander mode, which kind of functions as the campaign of the game, and it's been pretty cool doing that. You essentially just have to work with a group of 4 and they kind of get mentally taxed through missions. So you have to put them through therapy and hire new people to basically replace them for your missions so you're not just out there alone, because that would be terrible. And I would be so scared I would probably shoot every civilian in the game just to get the hell out of there. But that kind of brings on a problem I have with the game, and that is like how their mental states work and progress through playing different levels, and also the scoring of the game. So the devs designed it so that through missions, the mental state will usually decrease or stay the same. And I used to think, well, it would stay the same if we weren't shot as much, if no one got injured, if no one died, obviously. But I started doing missions like perfectly A rating, no one really got injured, we're all good to go, but they would still go to stressed and then eventually crisis. And I found out it's because the game actually wants you to use non-lethal weapons to take down suspects. Not just like scare them to make them throw their gun, but actually use like the beanball gun and shit like that to take them down. And I find that to be kind of disheartening because it's not how I want to play and how I feel like you even should be playing. If you were a SWAT agent raiding a crack den where you know there are suspects fully armed with fucking shotguns, full auto rifles, you're not going to go in with a non-lethal option because you're thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your squad. So if it becomes between you and them, you're going to shoot to kill, all right? It's kill or be killed, not shoot paintballs at people or be killed. I mean, I feel like realistically, yeah, there should be some missions where you need to use non-lethal weaponry, like in a hostage situation maybe, where they're not having gun to head, but they're holding somebody. It might be safer to have non-lethal weapons so you don't actually kill this high-value target and maybe the ringleader as well so you get more answers out of them. But in order to keep your team happy and shit and also get an S rank, you can't be killing anybody, and it's kind of lame. I don't want to sound insane for wanting to kill them. I just want to shoot these people. No, it's just like, that's how the game works. I'm fucking scared of my life. I'm not going to use a fucking non-lethal weapon. I'm going to use a gun, and I'm going to protect myself and anybody I'm playing with. The commander mode has been pretty fun to work through, but I still think co-op is where this game really just takes off still, because being scared alone is one thing, but when you play with someone and you are both scared, it is so much funnier. The amount of times I've gone through a door and then been blasted and been like, hey man, I thought you checked this door, and he's like, oh shit, that was you. I don't even feel betrayed because I know he didn't do it on purpose, and I completely understand why he did that shit. You have someone pull up on you with the gun, you're just lighting them up. You don't have time to hit F and wait for them to throw it. So he saw me with the gun and he just lit me up, and I respect it fully. Once again, it's kill or be killed. And we were both so tense that one of us just had to go. It also typically is more difficult because when you play like the commander mode, you get 4 teammates, so there's 5 of you. Makes it a bit easier, and you can also just like send them in to clear like whole rooms and shit, so you don't have to really worry about getting lit up. But when like I play with my friends, there's only really 2 friends I usually play with, and it's usually just one of them at most. So it's just like 2 of us, at max 3 of us, clearing this whole mission just together. And like the whole time we try to use the proximity chat, try to really get ourselves scared and into this game, because I love when my heart rate goes up to 140, because then I can just go straight to the gym and start pumping that iron, man. I don't even need to do cardio. I just get the heart racing with this game. By the way, if you see this game and you go, oh, it's probably going to be easy because it's AI, you're in a world of hurt, dog, because you can't just go in and run and gun in this game. You have to check every corner. You have to be leaning around. You have to like aggressively get through the door, you know? Blow it with a shotgun, kick it open, throw a flash, or just be ready to light that room up no matter what. One of the hardest things in the game is when a suspect is holding a hostage gun to their head, because I never hit the suspect before I hit the civilian, because I just let that full auto rifle just go. Because the AI does not mess around. More often than not, they'll take a few shots at you and then they'll throw their gun. But by then I've already killed them. Like, I don't have time for that, man. There could be another one of you behind that corner in that dark area I haven't put my flashlight to. And sometimes the AI are literally retarded and you'll peek 1 inch out of the door. They'll start shooting you and then continue shooting you through the wall, which doesn't damage you a lot. But when you're getting shot in this game, it feels like you just did a backflip, landed on your head, and feel absolutely stunned right now. Like, you're just out of it, vision blurry, like you just got shot up in an old COD when it used to make like the red blood and like the kind of blurryish screen. It's way worse in this game. really, enough said. If you're tired of playing Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, you know, those run and gun shooters, and maybe you've been getting into Tarkov and whatnot, this could be a good game to start where you have to play tactical, slow and steady, and fear for your life at all times. I really love to see what Ready or Not is creating as something of a bigger genre. I know there was older games like SWAT 4 and stuff, but those never really have picked up the hype to cause other games come out. Like 6 Days in Fallujah went into early access last year, and I'm pretty hyped for that to get good. I've played a little bit of it, but I haven't gotten into it too much because it's a little different. It takes place in like a war setting instead of like you as a SWAT agent, so it's a bit more chaotic and less about building like a suspenseful fear. It's more about intense fear, you know? You're running around, you're seeing a guy out of a window lighting you up, now you gotta dodge it. But there's also like a sniper above the entire battlefield lighting you up if you even poke out. It's a lot more hectic. But check all this out if you're interested. I think most of it's just on PC, you know, Steam and whatnot, but it could always come to consoles. It could go to any other game store. And yeah, I just appreciate anyone still watching. Let me know what you think about the video, the game, anything like that in the comments. I read them all, so if you make a good one, I will, you know, give you a little heart, respond to your comment. But if it's bad, I just move on to the next one. You know, I don't really care about you. Fuck you if you make a bad comment. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, take care to the next one. Try not to get stabbed by a crackhead in the crack den. And never, never think the caves are safe. They'll find you. See ya.